Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be making something super fun. We're going to be making a sourdough loaf of bread, but in the shape of a turkey. So a turkey loaf of bread. I have shared this bread recipe that I'm following many times on this channel. It's my go-to recipe. It's the one I use 9 times out of 10. It's a pretty foolproof one. It works super great. It'll be linked down below in the description box, and I really love this one because it does not require any stretch and folds. You put everything in the mixer, let it go for about 10 minutes. Once it looks like it's a pretty decent consistency and it's not sticking too much and you have a nice window pane result when you test your dough, you're ready to go and let it sit and hang out and rise before putting it in a banneton and letting it hang out overnight. So that is what I am working on here. Again, this will be in the description box where you can get all the measurements and everything that you need for the dough. But once this is set, I'm just going to take the dough hook off and scrape down the edges a little bit and let this dough hang out right here in this bowl until it is about doubled in size, which would bring it to about 8 to 10 hours later. Give it a nice punch, and then I'm going to take it out of the bowl and give it a nice rough shape to hang out in the banneton overnight. And the next morning, or whenever you are ready to use your dough, this is where it gets fun. So I'm going to just flour my piece of parchment here and then turn my dough out onto the parchment. And then I am following a little bit of a step-by-step. I'll also have that linked down below in the description box if you want to follow that. And I am kind of just taking my bench scraper here and cutting 2 smaller, almost triangle sections of the dough to make the wing or the arm part of the turkey to start. Then once I have that situated, I am then going to take 2 smaller sections from the bottom of the loaf, and that is going to end up being my legs. But I'm fully removing those pieces, giving them a slight shape, and then reattaching them to the main body of the turkey. I use a little bit of water, and then I cross the little legs onto what would be the stomach of the turkey, and then I do the same with the wings or the arms. I kind of cross them a little bit onto the middle of the body of the turkey. Once I have the dough where I like it and I'm satisfied, I'm just going to do a general score right down the middle, nothing fancy with that, just enough to let some of that steam out. And then I'm going to, like I mentioned before, put the arms or the wings of the turkey on the front or the middle chest part of what would be the turkey or the dough. And then I take some kitchen shears and just do little clips into the arms to kind of resemble a little bit of a feathered look. This was what the directions that I picked out from Pinterest said to do, so I did that to give it just a little bit of extra flair to my loaf of bread. And to finish it off, right before I stick it in the oven, I put a little bit of paprika all over the top, just a light dusting. I didn't put any inclusions in this loaf. It is just a plain loaf of bread. So I add a little bit of the paprika to give it a little bit more of that authentic look that you would get when you bake a turkey. So once I'm satisfied with how the dough looks, I'm going to put it in my preheated Dutch oven that has been hanging out in my warm oven for about 45 minutes or so. I put it in there with the lid on, so covered, for 15 minutes, took the lid off, did 15 more minutes, and then took it out. I probably could have left it in for about 10 more minutes or so. My crumb was a little bit tight. I would have liked to have seen it a little bit looser, a couple more air bubbles in there, but that's okay. This was still super tasty bread. I try to give myself a lot of grace when I make these loaves and I show them to you guys, because not every single loaf that I make is perfect, but it did turn out in a way that I am satisfied with. And that is our loaf of bread. I hope you try this out and give it a shot. It will be so fun for Thanksgiving, a really interesting piece to bring to Thanksgiving dinner. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. I make new videos every single week on all things sourdough, just like this recipe, homemaking, and country living. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one.